Working on the interstate, I'm bailing with them bricks. Cooking with the flour, hit me if you need the fish. Bottom of
He passed away while indulging in his greatest passion. Now, unbeknownst to him, his final gathering was his last, as he was later pursued, ambushed, and brutally killed. His fans, particularly those in the hip-hop community, were deeply affected by this tragic turn of events. So, what exactly occurred? Well, this is the crazy story of Chinx Drugz. Chinx grew up in a tough part of Far Rockaway, Queens, surrounded by big buildings and the ocean. His mom had a clerk job and his dad wasn't around much before he passed away when Chinx was still a teen. After leaving high school in 11th grade, Chinx decided to chase his dreams of making it in rap music, while also getting involved in the streets. He first called himself Chinx Drugz, a name that reflected his habits and how he made his money. Chinx became known in his area in the early 2000s with his group Riot Squad, which also had a promising rapper named Stack Bundles. Now sadly, Stack Bundles' life was cut short when he was killed outside his home in 2007, right when he was about to make it big in music. Chinx was a charismatic and handsome individual, adorned with tattoos that made him instantly recognizable. Notably, he had a unique set of neck tattoos resembling a scarf, and an airplane tattoo on his left hand, which became iconic and even graced the cover of his album, Welcome to JFK. Now, he was known for his laid-back and amiable nature, and he also possessed a deep understanding of the challenges of street life, showcasing a more serious side. Now, Ferg, one of his friends, described him perfectly. He was both a tough guy and a true gentleman. Grandmas would adore him, but he also had that vibe that warned you not to cross him. He really was the ultimate man. In 2005, he hit a big bump in his journey. He had to go to prison for a robbery he was involved in back in '99 when he was just 15. He and another teenager had attacked a 57-year-old man, taking his gold chains and shooting him. During his time in the Mid-State Correctional Facility in upstate New York, he didn't just serve time, he made something of it. He got his GED and even got married to Janelle Ceceres, who's the mother of 2 of his 3 kids. Their wedding in 2016 was simple but meaningful. Now, she remembers he wore prison greens, but they let him put on a collared shirt for the ceremony. It was nice, considering the circumstances. We knew we couldn't be choosy about how it happened. After leaving prison, he focused on his music career, which improved his life. He teamed up with Charlie Max B. Wingett, a famous rapper now in jail, through Montana. Now, they worked on mixtapes called Cocaine Riot and Coke Boys albums. Montana praised Chinx's talent and versatility, comparing him to baseball legend Oscar Robertson because he excelled in all aspects of music. In 2012, he hit it big with his first major success, I'm a Coke Boy, a song that quickly became a beloved anthem in his hometown.
I'm talking about that money, I'm talking about them M's, I'm talking about that rolling, 67 bands.
The track cleverly reused eerie violin sounds from Worldwide by Royal Flush, a song from 15 years earlier. In I'm a Coke Boy, he vividly raps about his journey from the streets to success, alongside Frenchie in a luxurious new Ghost Phantom car. Harry Fraud, the producer behind I'm a Coke Boy and collaborator on roughly 50 records with Chinx, praised him for his professionalism and incredible talent. Fraud marveled at how Chinx never seemed to need to write his lyrics down, despite the complexity and depth of his music. The news of Chinx's death deeply affected Fraud, describing it as a devastating loss that felt like a vital part of him had been removed. It was like taking the heart out of a body, he expressed, highlighting the profound impact Chinx's passing had on him and those who knew him. Now, speaking of death, what happened on that day? On a memorable Saturday, May 16, 2015, Chinx Drugz was gearing up for a night that promised excitement at Brooklyn's Red Wolf Club. Now, the day was filled with warmth and laughter, shared with his wife, basking in the joy of each other's company. As dusk turned to night, they cherished the fleeting moments until a little past midnight when it was time for Chinx to leave for his event. Janelle, worn out from the day's adventures, chose to rest, staying behind as Chinx prepared to step out. They exchanged a playful joke, a light moment that now echoes with a poignancy as he reassured her, I promise I'm coming straight home. I'm not gonna do anything after the club. After a kiss goodbye, Chinx ventured into the night, normally surrounded by his trusted circle, guardians in the shadows of his burgeoning rap career and turbulent past. But that night, the constellation of his usual protectors was absent. A video shoot in New Jersey the next day meant his close allies had reasons to stay behind, a decision shaped by logistics rather than by affection. In this unusual solitude, Chinx reached out to Yemen Cheese, a fellow Coke Boy affiliate, ensuring he wouldn't face the night's uncertainties alone. Now, Yemen's agreement to accompany him was a gesture of loyalty, a beacon in the dimly lit path that Chinx had to tread. But little did they know, the promise of the night held a different fate, a reminder of the fragility of life and the deep bonds that tie us to those we cherish. As Chinx stepped out into the night, the promise of returning home lingered in the air, a silent oath waiting to be fulfilled. They never guessed what was about to happen though. They got to the club and it was packed. Now Chinx rocked the stage, everybody was having a blast, and it felt like a perfect night with DJ Babyface making his debut. But sadly, it was also his last gig with Chinx. Now when the party wrapped up at 3 a.m., Chinx and Yemen thought that they'd keep the night going at a hookah spot, but it was closed up. So they decided to just go back to Chinx's place. Now Yemen could catch a cab home from there, which would be easier. Cameras caught him leaving in Chinx's shiny silver Porsche. Now for a short while, as they drove, they were just two friends enjoying the music and the buzz of a great night. But then everything changed. Around 4 a.m., as they waited at a red light, the danger they hadn't noticed caught up with them. Gunshots shattered the peace. Yemen felt a sharp pain and realized he was hit and bleeding. Before he could think, more bullets flew at him, turning a night of fun into a straight-up nightmare. In those terrifying moments, Chinx did something heroic. He shielded Yemen with his own body, taking most of the bullets himself, 7 times, while Yemen was hit twice. It was as if Chinx knew that he wouldn't make it, but he wanted to save his friend no matter what. After the gunfire stopped, Chinx, even though he was badly hurt, urged Yemen to drive. Now Yemen, struggling with a wounded lung, managed to steer the car a little bit further until they crashed near Dunkin' Donuts. With the attackers gone, Yemen found the strength to get help from nearby police officers, even as he was bleeding out. The police said Chinx was hit about 15 times, counting both entry and exit wounds, after they found casings from a 9mm gun, all shot by one person. They rushed to Jamaica Medical Center, but it was too late for Chinx. He was gone before they could even get him help. Yemen, against all odds and with only a 15% chance of living, survived his serious injuries. The scene was grim when investigators arrived, the car riddled with bullets and stained with blood, a stark reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded. Meanwhile, Chinx's wife woke around 5 a.m. only to find him absent from their home. Her initial call to his phone went unanswered, and she brushed off her worries thinking that he might be at the studio. But just minutes later, her world shattered when Chinx's manager called with devastating news that he'd been shot and taken to the hospital. Now, the gravity of the situation hit her when detectives instructed her to come to the hospital, but not alone if she was driving. It was then that she realized the unthinkable might be true. Chinx might be gone. As she arrived at the hospital, her worst fears were confirmed. The hip-hop community, along with his loved ones, mourned the loss of Chinx, sharing their condolences and support for those grieving his untimely death. It was a tragic loss, felt deeply by everybody who knew him. So let me ask you a question. If you was faced with danger, would you risk everything for a friend like Chinx did for Yemen? Make sure you share your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because we got more captivating tales coming your way.